Welcome to our first video on the Manda-LORE-ian. This video will be on the first episode of the second season, The Marshal. Rather than giving you yet another review of this episode, we will check it from a lore and observational perspective. Information in this video comes to you from our personal collection of books, which we refer to as the Cardass Library. West End Games was the first to assign Roman letters to the Aurebesh symbols from Star Wars. This chart will be used throughout the video. In the opening scene, Din Djarin and the child are strolling through a ghetto. Graffiti can be seen on the walls. Graffiti is not uncommon in the Star Wars universe. Here you see some on the wall in this artwork from the Shadows of the Empire sourcebook. In the next few shots, we attempt to identify some of the Aurebesh letters in some of the tags. You'll notice that some of the tags are crossed out. This is not uncommon in the inner city here on Earth, now. You'll want to go to full screen for this one. We admit this one is iffy. The first thing I'm reminded of when I see flags above a ring are Saturdays at 6:05 on the Superstation. Here you see Ric Flair, cowering from Ricky Morton, one half of the Rock and Roll Express. Even since the trailer, there's been a lot of chatter about the Gamorreans in the ring. While I think the makeup was terrible, and I might have even seen some imperfections on the green on their backs, this stature is not uncommon, as evidenced by this art by Ralph McQuarrie. Based on the subtitles, this is the name of the Abyssin. I guess they decided not even to change the spelling. She's never seen anything like it. Yoda was literally in the holonet news for the galaxy to see. If they don't think that's canon, then what about the propaganda openings to the Clone Wars episodes? This scene of him rolling into town with all the Western tropes was so on the nose that it was almost a parody. You might want to get out of the line of fire, Weequay. Mine's bigger than yours. Obviously, this is pulled from the opening crawl from Return of the Jedi. There was talk on social media of the Imperial occupation, to put it in Cobb Vanth's words. In pre-Disney continuity, there was definitely an Imperial presence both before and after the Devastator arrived at the planet in A New Hope. Feel free to pause on any of these pages and read about this Imperial presence, including stormtroopers. This is the exact look I had on my face during this scene. Throughout the rest of the episode, an attempt is made to almost turn the Tusken Raiders into noble savages. In the pictured scene, the Tusken Raiders behave in a too humanly manner in the brief scuffle. Din Djarin himself becomes an apologist for this brutal species. A short story from Tales from the Mos Eisley Cantina makes it clear that agreements can be made with the Tusken Raiders. However, the key to these agreements is distance and appeasing them, at least temporarily. Working side by side with them? Completely out of the question. The word blaster being used here could just be a turn of phrase by Din Djarin. It should be noted, however, that in early pre-Disney continuity, Tusken Raiders were armed with blasters. This was later changed in The Phantom Menace to slug throwers. The subtitle here makes it clear that the Sand People were almost using the Bantha as a sacrifice. If the creators of the show knew anything about the lore, they would know that the Sand People would never do this. The Sand People formed an almost psychologically symbiotic relationship with their Banthas. Feel free to pause and read some of the lore from various sources. It should be noted that Tatooine has plenty of other beasts that could have been used as the Krayt dragon meal. The biggest surprise to many from this episode would be that the Krayt dragon actually has a basis in pre-Disney continuity. The Krayt dragon as depicted in the episode, we mean. Here's Mike Velarde's attempt to explain the bones in the desert in A New Hope. The Wild Life of Star Wars, a 2001 book, actually explains that there are two subspecies of Krayt dragons. The larger one you see here is the one apparently depicted in the episode. This artwork makes clear the line about only seeing the head and the neck. This larger subspecies, the Greater Krayt, was actually shown in the Republic comic. These two shots show the horns and teeth of the beast. Not showing the rest of the body was probably a cost-cutting measure. 13 years before The Wild Life of Star Wars came out, Tatooine Manhunt indicated that Krayt dragons could essentially swim through the sand. It reads, "Suddenly, without warning, the hill moves. Sand cascades like water from a fall as a huge creature rises out of the desert." Unfortunately, the show's creators' take on the Krayt dragon falls apart from there. The four-legged variety of the Krayt dragon, the canyon dragon, is supposed to dwell in, well, canyons. Using 10 powerful legs to swim through sand is one thing, but swim through rock? This isn't the Horta from Star Trek. It's almost as if the show's creators read the Wikipedia entry on the Krayt dragon, but didn't go far enough. Anyone who's familiar with this channel knows our take on Disney continuity. A fair take on the lore or not? A good story or not? This story takes place in a reality where Han Solo is a racist, sexist pig, Lando Calrissian fancies a roll in the hay with droids, and Luke tried to murder his own nephew. You keep watching, and we'll keep reviewing the lore of these episodes.